Usually a MAGA voter considers themselves a patriot. They're somebody who loves this country. So the first step that you do is you ask them, you say, which one is more important to you? The United States Constitution or Donald Trump?
I smiled, but I said, well, none of them are good. Republicans nor Democrats. They're all bought and paid for. They work for the super rich, not for us. He wholeheartedly agreed with this.
Hey guys, it's Blahzaye, and today we're putting MAGA logic head to head with the Constitution with a little patience and a lot of facts. Stay to the end because we're testing out some easy scenarios. You can try it yourself. Trust me, it's going to be fun. Let's go.
I convert a lot of MAGA voters, specifically on my YouTube live streams, and I'm going to teach you how to do it because usually a MAGA voter considers themselves a patriot. They're somebody who loves this country. So the first step that you do is you ask them, you say, which one is more important to you? The United States Constitution or Donald Trump? If they say Donald Trump, stop there. They're too far gone. They are part of that 20 to 30% of the nation that is in a cult. Okay? Stop there. There's no saving that person.
And throw it down in the comments below if you think that people are worth saving past that point. You can't put one man above the Constitution. Throw it down in the comments. Let me know what you think.
If they say the Constitution matters more than Donald Trump, then you start with this. You say, do you support deporting U.S. citizens to the slave labor camp in El Salvador? Right? 9 out of 10 times, they're going to say no, and he never said that. Pull up the clip of him with Nayib Bukele, right, in the Oval Office when he's asked by a reporter, are you talking about U.S.-born citizens? And he goes, yeah, I mean, what are they, some sort of special category? So that one, they might jump ship. If they don't jump ship, then you bring up the fact, you said that you like the Constitution more than Trump, right? So do you support Donald Trump running a third term? 9 out of 10 times what they're going to say is, if it's legal, if they amend the Constitution. So here's what you retort with. You say to them, you go, so you're saying that you are okay with amending the U.S. Constitution for the sole purpose of one man running a third term. Now, usually they'll say Obama can run. He can't. What you then do is bring up Andy Ogles' proposition to amend the 22nd Amendment. His proposed amendment says explicitly, right on the website, Representative Andy Ogles, Trump third term, it says right there that no person who has served 2 consecutive terms can have a third term. Yep. That excludes Obama, right?
And I want to add to that as well. So we'll amend the Constitution for one person, but when it comes to a lot of kids, which everybody should be able to agree about, nothing can be done to the Constitution. Think about that as well. I don't know if you want to use that as a point of contention or not, but it's just a thought I had in my head.
So then you say, no. You show them that and you say, so you are okay with amending the Constitution for the sole purpose of one man getting to run a third term, and it hasn't even been 100 days of his second term yet, and you don't think that you're in a cult? Okay? Now, the very final nail in the coffin is to show them the story of the 4-year-old girl and her 8-year-old sister who had to represent themselves in front of a deportation judge. One of them was whirling around her toy windmill. The other one squeezing a pink plushie doll while the judge said to them, like, my job is to find out if you're supposed to be here or if we need to get you out of the United States. You show them that, and then you show them the proof, the same story that says that this is because the Trump regime got rid of a $200 million deal that provides the unaccompanied migrant children with an attorney. Because, I mean, if you don't support that, you support 4-year-old girls standing in front of a deportation judge, as they are already in New York City. So those are basic points. It's relatively easy to get somebody who supports Donald Trump to jump ship unless they are too far gone, unless they're a cultist. If they bring up something like war, right, you tell them, okay, so you support war in Greenland, war in Mexico, war in Panama, the conquering of Gaza, potentially the annexation of Canada. 9 out of 10 times that'll probably stump them. There's a couple of, you could say, how come the stock market is had the worst April since 1932, which is the Great Depression. You do that, then you tell them, well, why did the stock market go back up when Trump said he was going to remove his tariffs? Doesn't that mean his tariff plans are dog shit and even the rich don't support him? There's a litany of different ways. And the thing is, Most Trump supporters don't know this stuff. They don't support Trump because they see, children getting deported without a lawyer. They don't support Trump because they see U.S. citizens getting deported to El Salvador. They don't support Trump because they see he's getting rid of cancer research funding at Harvard University. This is not why they support Trump. They don't know this stuff because they are your For You page is not theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
They are surrounded by propaganda. They are.
And that's why we shouldn't be so angry at other people. Even if you're like a Trump or a Republican, a conservative, then you shouldn't be angry because everybody's For You page is absolutely different. I just want to hammer that point in. We're all in this little social media bubbles and we're being like fed into each other when we should already know that it's a class war, but we're getting pushed on all these different directions if we are middle class. So we're all stuck in our little bubbles. That's like coming at these points with logic, coming at these points of trying to understand the other person, and then, feeling people out and making sure that we find that common ground that we can actually argue about. Good faith arguments on both sides.
Spoon-fed propaganda. They are fed only glorious victory. And when they hear this stuff, they don't even believe it. But luckily, Trump says it with his own mouth. So you pull that stuff up, you look at my pinned video, you show them they don't even want to amend the Constitution for Trump to get a third term. They just want to circumvent it. Regardless, so many different ways. Don't give up hope. I convert people live, okay? I convert them live on YouTube, and it takes less than 10 minutes. Because as long as these people know the information, if they consider themselves a patriot, it's impossible to support Donald Trump. I'll say that one more time. If you consider yourself a patriot, it's impossible to support Donald Trump. We even went through the 14 key characteristics of fascism, which was put together in 2003 by Dr. Lawrence Britt, an expert on fascism. And Donald Trump meets all 14 qualifications of a fascist. Don't take my fucking word for it. Look up Lawrence Britt's 14 key characteristics of fascism and just try and see what you think. And remember, this is written in 2003. Before Donald Trump was even fucking a thought, okay? Anyway, have a good one. Catch you on the next one. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, and follow, and go to my YouTube. Just go to my fucking YouTube.
Yeah, that's his name at the bottom, Chris Valenti. On point, though, for sure. And that's why I say, don't take anybody's word or message for fact, right? Go and do the research yourself. Go put that work in so that you can bring it to the people that you want to talk to. And I'm saying this for the MAGA side, the Republican, the conservative side as well. Bring your facts, and then let's have an actual ideal battle, like a policy battle and a debate towards that type of stuff. Don't just sit there and try to berate people. Let's go to the comments. Everyone says they like old Chris, but I like the Chris that stands up for what's right in a time of crisis. Change the Constitution for one man, but not all the children hurt in schools. That's what I was just saying. Oh, how you gonna change it for one dude? But then when we have all these, events happening, and it's now, then there's no talk of that. It's just hopes and prayers. Get your hopes and prayers out, guys. I told my coworker a 4-year-old had to represent themselves in front of a judge without legal representation or legal guardian. Before I could finish, they asked, illegal or legal? Yeah, they don't. It's just a kid. Come on. That was a spot-on Trump voice. Good. Another point, personality, they're okay. Change the Constitution for one man to run a third term, but you don't like the idea of changing it to save hundreds of children. That's the thing. Like, that's the bracketing point, guys. It's like when we're talking about just kids, that should be like a flat out thing. Like, everybody can agree. Let's just make sure the kids get treated well and taken care of. I think that's not a point of contention. Make sure to stay tuned, because on this next video, this lady talks very calmly, almost in like a gentle parenting fashion, on how she's talking to one of her MAGA friends. Next video.
The other day, I was having a conversation with a man at the local dog park, and he slyly let me know that he had voted for Trump in this past election. We had had conversations before, and we were talking about how crazy stuff goes down at the dog park, because it does. And he said, yeah, that one lady with the purple hair won't talk to me anymore because she found out I voted for Trump. I nodded and said, yeah, people are upset and afraid, so that makes sense. Then I asked, so why did you vote for him? What made you want to? Instead of answering the question, he let me know that his brother was transgender and he had no problem with that stuff. That he even went to go get his nails done with his brother. And furthermore, he had voted for Obama back in the day. I understood this for what it was. His attempt to say that though he had voted for Trump, he wasn't transphobic, nor was he racist. But the
And this immediately reminds me of that candle when somebody's like, yeah, I have a black friend. Of course I can't be racist. That's not even possible. My cousin dates a black girl. So obviously I can't be racist. That's not even possible. What are you talking about? When they preface it before you even say anything, it's funny. Put it down in the comments if you ever had that happen.
But the fact of the matter was, I hadn't mentioned transphobia, nor had I mentioned racism. Which means that as a person who voted for Trump, he understood the context around that choice. He understood that a common prevailing opinion among his fellow Americans was that Trump voters were inherently transphobic and or racist. I've voted for several Democrats in the past, he continued on. I smiled, but I said, well, none of them are good, Republicans nor Democrats. They're all bought and paid for. They work for the super rich, not for us. He wholeheartedly agreed with this.
See, we form that point right there where we can bond on that. So we can have foundational principles. Hey, we know that the oligarchs are really ruling everything. Okay, you agree on that? Cool, we agree on that. All right, now who's Trump's best friends? But it's hard because also you can do that with Kamala too. She also had numerous billionaires. That's why I say if we can bring in facts on both sides and then just have a point of where we come together on these type of facts and then branch out from there. That's how you can make valid arguments. That's how you can actually have good conversation.
Because this is actually a statement that the vast majority of Americans agree with across the political spectrum. The fact that our entire government are grifters and crooks who are bought and controlled by the wealthy. This is an essential acknowledgement when leading right-wing people toward class consciousness. That the Democrats are as guilty as the Republicans for the current situation that we're in.
Yep.
So I asked again, so why vote for Trump then? He's definitely expressed transphobic and racist views. What does your brother think? Again, instead of answering, he responded to a context in his own head. He said, it's not like it matters. Trump's just saying things. It doesn't actually affect people. I said, well, Trump is a person with a lot of influence, and so what he says does influence other people. And because of that influence, it puts the targets of this kind of hate speech at risk. He didn't argue the influence part. He said, see, that's the thing, racism. Like, I've never seen it happen. It's not even around anymore. I've personally never seen it. Mind you, this is a very large white man, 6'3", hella pounds. A big white dude telling me that he didn't believe in racism because he never experiences it. So I said, have you ever ridden a plane? A bit confused, he said, yeah, lots of times. I nodded. Yeah, how comfortable are those seats? I asked. He scoffed. He said they were terrible. He could barely fit in them. He was always spilling over the sides and he could barely move his legs. There was inarguably no room in an airplane seat. It was not big enough. I let him go on for a little bit and then I said, see, I don't know what you're talking about. I actually feel like airplane seats are perfectly sized. I never have trouble getting in or out of the seats, and I can even fold my legs underneath me and take a nap like a cat. Now I see his wheels turning, so I quickly push on. You're married, right? I asked. And I know he is because, again, we've conversed before, but he confirms it. Yes, he's married. And I said, how do you feel about your wife going places alone at night? Like, how would you feel about her going for a midnight run in the park all alone? And now he's really picking up what I'm putting down. And I've put it down patiently enough that he's not angry or offended. He's visibly sheepish. And this always earns a smile from me. He admits he would not want his wife going for a midnight run alone in the park. On his own, he adds that he agrees women face struggles that men don't. Now I go ahead and finish the thought that's rattling around in his mind. Right, I say, so as white people, we're not experiencing the negative effects of racism because we're not the targets of racism, but the beneficiaries of white supremacy. We might not be seeing it because we don't think that it's actively harming us. Just like how, though I've never had a problem with the size of an airplane seat, that doesn't mean that you've never had a problem with the size of an airplane.
See how she has to like calmly teach empathy though? Like, I feel like this in itself is like a problem. Why do we have to a grown man, be like, hey, try to put yourself in other people's shoes? Like just to calmly do that. Can we think about how other people feel and not just yourself? Like, that's wild to me.
Plane seat. And just because you might not be in danger going for a midnight run in the park, that doesn't mean that your wife wouldn't be in danger going for a midnight run in the park and be justified in being scared to do so. I see from the expression on his face that a switch has flipped. He concedes the point to me. We keep going until he plainly states that he sees that the points that I'm making apply to racism. Now I push on with some validation. You're right about both the Democrats and Republicans being crooked, though, I say. The whole system is set up to screw us over, and our politicians uphold that system. My favorite part of these conversations is always watching the wheels turn. After this, like I have with many others, I metaphorically take his hand and slowly lead him toward class consciousness. 1, find their starting point. 2, relate their struggles to the struggles of others. 3, identify the real enemy. And then 4, explain the solution. The other day,
Yeah, and I think that was an absolutely great breakdown. She did it step by step, guys. Let's go to the comments. And I hate that she got a Sesame Street basic human empathy and decency for these people. Unfortunately, some people let fear and hate or just plain or blind following influence their mindset. They always all voted for Trump because he's exactly the opposite of his political adversaries, which is a strong point for Trump. Like those are his great attributes, to be able to be abrasive and then to the point. And he's the "you're fired" guy. He actually has good, public presence. He can be on camera. He's really great on camera. He knows how to market everything that his cabinet's doing, everything that he's doing. Biden couldn't do that. Kamala's not good at that. He's great at that. It's just there's a lot of other points. So you can't expect like politicians to be perfect, but on those ends of the scale, Trump is great at what he does. But now it's you see all these points of contention that are happening because of everything that's going wrong now. Bless anyone who can baby full-grown adults into intelligent thought. Y'all, this isn't gentle parenting. This is what an actual conversation with the goal of communicating sounds like. Let's see what the reply is. Not to talk to hear yourself, not talk to prove yourself right or change others' minds. It's a simple conversation without reactionary emotion. Yeah, glad you said it. It's weird seeing all these people infantilize others. We need to break out of our echo chambers, that's exactly what I was saying, and be able to have conversations and understanding with people we disagree with. And that's all this is calling for, guys. If you got anything from this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and comment down below because I definitely want to hear your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.